I'm gonna help you to choose the right aircraft maintenance school from scratch. You might ask me, who am I? Well, I am that kid who was never smart in school, who did not stand out on anything, and teachers did not see a brightful future for me. Fast forward 10 years, I got a diploma in aircraft maintenance engineering with a 3.92 GPA, topped that with an aeronautical engineering degree with a first class honours, and my work have been featured on New York Post, Newsmax, Great Ancestral Show, Arizona Central, Asian Voice, and much more. And currently I'm an aeronautical engineer who works with fascinating drone systems. And in my past, I've been working as an aircraft engineer. And I've also found Aerolaunch Private Limited, where we help students to find the right aircraft maintenance school and professionals to find the right work environment. And anything I'm gonna say in the next few minutes of this video are from regulations, so nobody can say otherwise. Let's get to the video. Can I ask you for a favor? 87.6% of you who watch my videos on my channel haven't subscribed to my channel. Now, it would mean a lot as I am maintaining 2 channels. It's very hard to bring videos, but the little bit of motivation I get is from your subscription. When I see my subscribe count go up, I feel very happy. And my other channel, I got around 70,000 subscribers. Those of you subscribe to that channel, thank you very much. That's a Sri Lankan only channel, and this channel is dedicated to everyone who wants to join with me to make sure that you go through the right pathway to achieve your goals. Let me tell you a story. Long time ago, there was a kid who wanted to be in aviation. He was not very smart, but he knew he had a passion for aviation. He knew he's gonna do something with aviation and did everything possible to get more information. Back in those days, ChatGPT was not a thing. Google search was not that effective. So they relied on people who's actually working. So this kid got into a bus one day on his way to somewhere. The man got into the bus with a nice uniform, lanyard of an airline, and when this kid peeked into his ID, it said engineering. Wanted to ask more about it, but knowing he's approaching his stop really soon, he talked to the guy and asked, "Are you an engineer?" He said, "Yes, I am an aircraft maintenance engineer." Explained to him that he's approaching his stop and asked for his email. Went home, sent an email. To this date, that student did not get a response. And that email was very simple, asking step-by-step guidance on how to find the right aircraft maintenance school and how to become an aircraft maintenance engineer. Not knowing where to get credible information from, this student turned to an educational consultancy, told his story. Education consultancy turned back to him and said, "You're in the right place, we're gonna guide you." And pointed him to a university in Malaysia. He went there, absolutely brilliant staff, one of the best staffs you can ask for in life to study aircraft engineering. They're very knowledgeable, they look after you, they invest on each and every individual, but they got one flaw, and that is a very important flaw. They did not have the approval from any country. So what does this mean for a student? That means if this student doesn't have an approved course, he's going to spend 5 years of his valuable life to become a licensed aircraft maintenance engineer, where others who studied in an approved school only needs 2 years of experience to gain their license. So that student was me. That's why I started Aerolaunch. Not only aircraft maintenance engineers, I want to help pilots, cabin crew, anyone who is willing to go into aviation, I want to help you out. This channel is dedicated to walk you through where I went wrong and help you so that you won't fall into the same problems. So one big question I get every single day from my consultancy, from my mentees, is how to correctly become an aircraft maintenance engineer. Unlike other degree programs, aerospace engineering, mechanical engineering, aircraft maintenance engineering does not work like that. it might have a degree, but that's not the most important thing to become an aircraft maintenance engineer. The most important thing is the approval that I talked about. Now, where do you get this approval from? An approval is granted by the Civil Aviation Authority of that country. Let me give you an example. I'm in UK, we got UKCAA. They're the big boss in aviation regulation. They make sure these are the regulations that anyone who's in aviation should comply with. If you take Europe, now Europe have different countries, Italy, Spain, France, Malta, and they have mini civil aviation authorities. Why did I say mini civil aviation authorities? The reason being, those civil aviation authorities in Europe or European Union does not put out regulations. They need to listen to a higher power, and that is EASA. EASA stands for European Aviation Safety Agency. EASA is the big boss. EASA says, look, here is the regulation, comply. And EASA also say, look, I can't help each and individual country, so why don't you set up your own civil aviation authorities, and when I give you the regulation, you comply with it. So this is why aircraft maintenance engineering, piloting, cabin crew, and also ATC, these qualifications are governed by a civil aviation authority, not by any educational framework. Okay, so they are our big boss, as to say. Now, this is why we need to understand where we do our aircraft maintenance engineering program. There are two types of schools. Approved schools, which are approved by the Civil Aviation Authority of that country. Non-approved schools, which is there to make money.
Stop.
Sorry?
You can't say that in video.
Oh, I can't say that on video. Alright, can we retake that? Number one is approved schools, which are approved by the Civil Aviation Authority of that country. And there are non-approved programs, or we call modular programs, where you could do these programs. So there are approved programs which is approved by the Civil Aviation Authority of that country, and there are non-approved programs. Now, non-approved programs serves two purposes. Now, if you're someone from a different background doing something entirely different to aircraft maintenance engineering, but do have a mechanical or electronic background and want to transfer your skills into aviation, now you could get into a non-approved school and complete the modules. There are different modules. For mechanical, there are 13 modules. For B2, which is avionics, there's 12 modules. I did a whole video on categories. I will link the video somewhere here. Please do check that after this video. So for those people who are in their late 30s, 40s, they want to transfer or do a career change, modules are an affordable option. But I still do not recommend them, because non-approved programs, after graduation, you need to find a job as an aircraft mechanic or a technician. And you need to show 5 years of experience in order to have your blank aircraft maintenance license. Okay, so for someone who's in their late 30s, they go for the affordable option. Okay, I go to this school, get my modules done. Okay, now you spend another 5 years gaining your basic experience to get your blank aircraft maintenance license. Let's move into the approved schools. Approved schools, once graduated, you need to find a job, and then you need to work only 2 years to gain your blank aircraft maintenance license. Now I'm going to introduce two terms to you. Number one is Part 66. Part 66 is nothing but another name for aircraft maintenance license. And Part 147. 147 is nothing but an approved school by the Civil Aviation Authority. Okay, mainly this is used in the EASA's context, but I know there are many other countries who are not complying to EASA, but they still have the similar system. So that's why it is very important that you pick a Part 147 that is approved by the country you're going to live in. So that's why you need to make a decision, where am I going to live? Now, if you are a student from the UK who wants to settle down in Europe, there's less benefit of doing a CAA UK Part 147 approved course, unless the school have both approvals, such as CAA UK approval as well as EASA approval. Then you can use that qualification to gain access to jobs abroad. Now, my advice is, if you are aspiring to become an aircraft maintenance engineer or a technician in the European Union, you can go to one of the member states and start your studies. A member state means it is a country that is under EASA, under European Union. Okay, so if you study in Italy, your certification is approved by EASA because they have given the authority to ENAC. ENAC is the Civil Aviation Authority of Italy, to make sure they can give you a certificate of recognition. That is the certificate that a student who graduates from a 147 will get, and that is recognized by anywhere in Europe. Now, if you're in an Asian country like Sri Lanka, India, Pakistan, and then you're aspiring to go into Europe and live one day, I think the best way to start that is going to a Part 147 approved school in Europe. Now, I understand in your country there can be schools that is approved by EASA as well as your country. Now, let me give you an example, food for thought. Okay, I want you to comment the answer below. So there is a region in the world that requires aircraft maintenance engineers, requires aircraft maintenance technicians so badly. Okay, but there are some countries who that requirement is not there. Maybe they have one airline for the whole country, so there's no much requirement for aircraft technicians. Now, what is the most logical thing? Is it to get closer to the part of the world that there is a lot of jobs, or make sure you get your studies done in your country and then apply for a sponsored visa? Getting a sponsored visa is very hard. Trust me, I know this because I'm working with a major airline in Europe, helping them to get skilled force from Sri Lanka, India, Philippines, and this visa process is very hectic. Now, what I found out was, these companies, they want the skill, but it is easier to get someone who is already established in Europe rather than tapping to an Asian market. So that's why I ask every student, if you want to become an aircraft maintenance engineer in Europe, go to an EASA approved course. Now, if you need affordable options where you need to study in Europe, well, I am working with two schools, one in Switzerland, one in Latvia. Now, the Latvian school gives you the degree as well as the certificate of recognition. Now, the other school, they will give you the certificate of recognition. Okay, both of them are EASA 147 approved. So, upon graduation, you need 2 years to become a licensed aircraft maintenance engineer. Okay, there's many more things to become a licensed aircraft maintenance engineer, such as type rating. I'll get that in another video. Okay, so if you need help, there's only one thing to do. Send me an email to edu@aerolaunch.net and I'll get in touch with you, and we need to talk about your aspirations, what you are expecting out of this, and then I could give you a tailor-made structured pathway to achieve your goal. Goal achieving is one of my expertise because all my life luck have not worked on my side. I had to gain what I needed. So I'm going to help you to get that. So before we wrap up this video, I want to give you the privileges of a 147. Now, a 147 is privileged to do 4 things. Okay, and that is theoretical knowledge, which is your studies, whether it's mechanical or electronic. Theoretical assessment, that means they can provide you modules, or they can ask you to go to the Civil Aviation Authority and complete the modules. That doesn't make any difference. Okay, and practical training and practical assessment. When you have these 4 things, you are completing a basic training. Now, there's one more thing that a 147 can do, and that is type rating. Type rating is an extensive program, practical and theory, that will help you to become an expert in one of the aircraft types. So I'm going to stop here. I'll meet you with another video next week. Until then, keep fixing.